Hi, I'm back with another drawing video, and this one's actually going to be a topic slash discussion-ish sort of kind of video. Now, I don't usually do these, so, you know, if I'm all over the place and things are kind of crazy, then I'm sorry. But, you know, I try to get everything sorted out. I have this sticky note pile in front of me as a point of reference, just so I can kind of cover all the points I wanted to talk about. Now, I don't usually do topic or theme discussion related videos, more so just because those are kind of a double-edged sword. You can get an interesting conversation going, and you can also find like all the crazy, insane, toxic people on the internet. So what I'm hoping I can do with this video is kind of share my experience with what happened and then get your guys' feedback and thoughts on it, because I actually think that this would be interesting to talk about. So pretty much the overarching question I have for this video is, what makes good fan art? That, you know, being the basic question, we also need to go over what makes bad fan art. Now, I'll kind of just share my experience with you guys, just so you know where I'm coming from. But if you're actually curious, I did recently play Portal 2 on stream.
I'll be honest, we're throwing science at the wall here to see what sticks. No idea what it'll do. Probably nothing. Best case scenario, you might get some superpowers. Worst case, some tumors, which we'll cut out.
I'll link the Vod channel down below. I stream 2 times a week, video games on Wednesdays and art on Sundays. So if that's something that you'd be interested in checking out, I'll leave a link to that. All right, so I just want to preface and say that out of all the time that I've been sharing art on the internet, I would say that my experience has been overwhelmingly positive. You know, I've been sharing art, and for the most part, it's been going great. There is the occasional thing that kind of blows up in your face and kind of catches you off guard for why people get upset, but that hasn't happened too often. This is actually one of those drawings, which is why I decided to pick it for this discussion, so the art is actually relevant to the discussion. Is it good or is it bad? Now, I'll leave that for you guys to decide, but I'll kind of tell you the story of, you know, what went on with the controversy. So, if you actually look at the drawing, there is a mistake in it. The portal behind her has a reflection of her in it, so it acts more as a mirror rather than a portal. Now, when I actually made this drawing, I was not aware of that, just because I was still in the process of playing Portal 2, and you know, I hadn't beaten the game yet or jumped deep into the lore. I played the game, thought it was fun, decided I should make a drawing for it. So, you know, I wasn't fully informed of it, and I don't know all the lore, you know. I'm not like a diehard Marvel fan of the Portal universe, but I still thought it was cool and I wanted to draw it. But I made a mistake and it blew up on Reddit. Now, there's the typical stuff which I'm used to is, damn, why the hell did you make that thickness slider go all the way to 11 when it's a 1 out of 5? So that I'm already used to. That I would consider more a stylistic choice. But there was actually the mistake in the Portal, and that's what people freaked out about. But it's just interesting because Portal is a community that you would expect to be moreover supportive. Now, of course, I'm not talking about everyone. You know, it tends to be the people that are genuinely upset that tend to comment, and, you know, a passerby that happens to like the drawing will just, you know, like the drawing and move on. I do that, so it's okay. But it did receive enough negative feedback that I thought, hey, like, is this a bad fan art drawing? And it actually made me think to myself, well, what dictates what makes a fan art good and what makes it bad? What role does your art style have in making the art? How much creative liberty do you have before it kind of loses the spirit of the original? How much do you actually need to like the thing before you decide to make a fan art of it? Have there ever been any fan bases that actually affect the way you feel about the thing in general? And those are actually some topics that I wanted to cover. These questions don't just apply to my drawing in the instance of Portal. I think that this is more kind of a generalized thing. You know, these are things that some people will appreciate because it breathes new life into a fan art, and some people will find devastating because they think it should be a one-to-one carbon copy with the show. Now, it doesn't take a genius to see, you know, the official artwork of Portal next to my drawing of Portal and be like, they don't look anything alike. That is more attributed to art style. If I were to draw a 2D character in my own style, clearly there is a lot of difference there. So I would attribute that more to art style. You know, if you draw something in your own style, can your art style vary so much from the original that it actually makes it bad. And if that is the case, or if that's not the case, how much creative liberty do you have before it's considered going too far? Because I find that with a lot of drawings, you know, I will add my own flair to them, my own thing. You know, so if a character tends to have a very basic design, I'll usually add some elements to it that will make it a bit more interesting for illustration. You know, just details that I think would be cool. It's your own personal way of interpreting the character, and I find that that makes it fun. Some people think that that is ruining the intention of the character, and that's something that you don't have the right to change. Both are valid. And then the other question is, how much do you actually need to like the thing? You know, do you need to be so well versed in it that you know all the lore, you know everything about it, and you don't make careless mistakes like I did? Because I'm not going to lie and say I'm a super diehard Portal fan. I played the first game, I think like 4 to 5 years ago, and I don't remember a lot about it, and I just barely finished the second game this week. So, you know, for me to say I know all the lore and this and that and whatever, and I'm a diehard fan, is not true. I still like the game. I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was super fun to play. I thought that the level design is really interesting. The puzzle mechanics are really interesting, and it has a lot of polish. For a game made in 2011, that shit still slap. So I think that the game is really cool, but I have only been a fan of it genuinely for like a week. I don't know if that's too early to start making fan art, or, you know, how long you need to be in a fandom before you are allowed to make the fan art. But I'm actually curious, you know, what are people's thoughts on that? Did you draw a fan art of a show before you even knew what the hell it was? I have done the same thing with Genshin Impact. I've drawn a lot of characters from that, even though I've played the game like twice. But that's just because I'm not much into gacha games. I like the characters' designs, and I have friends who play it, so I still feel right at home drawing the characters. And like I said, embellish, add my own details and stuff, and make them even fancier. Like they're not already complicated designs on their own. But yeah, I just thought that that would be something interesting to talk about. And then another question I have is, do the fan bases actually affect the way that you feel about the thing? So this is not shots fired at Steven Universe, but it is a good example because it's one of the most well-renowned. Like, when you think of toxic internet communities, Steven Universe is pretty high on there. This is not for the average fan, it's not for the reasonable fans, but there are some die-hard fans that are like the gatekeepers of, you know, the order and the balance, and if you go against them, you will get trashed, and they will try to rip you a new one. They'll try to cancel you. And again, this is not specific to Steven Universe. I've seen this happen with Harry Potter, I've seen it happen with Lord of the Rings, I've seen it happen with pretty much anything. If you find somebody that's into something enough, they will be upset that you don't care about it as much as they do. That's not a personal attack on you, it's just it's something that's important to them. But have you ever had any fan bases that affect the way that you feel about a thing? Because I know that I'm probably never going to draw a Steven Universe character just because the fandoms would absolutely tear me to pieces. You know, I tend to draw characters that are a bit more on the thick side, and I know that that would upset a lot of people. So that's actually because of the fan bases, I stay away from it. And I'm actually curious if you guys have actually had any experiences like this as well. Like, did I just have the unfortunate luck of being on Reddit? You know, is this a drawing that is legitimately upsetting to look at? Yeah, I'm actually curious to hear your guys' thoughts on the subject. You know, what is a good fan art to you? Has there ever been a fan art that's so off the mark that you feel that it was upsetting to you? I've personally never really been offended by somebody's interpretation of a fan art, so I don't really understand the notion of somebody getting so mad that they roast you on the internet for it. I'm just, you know, I can look at it and be like, oh, that's not that great, move on. But I don't know, maybe I just don't care about it as much as other people do. I'm just not a diehard enough fan. But I just thought that this would be an interesting topic to cover. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. So, you know, what do you think makes a good fan art? What makes a bad fan art? Can your art style ruin it? How much creative liberty do you have before it loses the spirit of the original? How much do you actually need to like the thing before you could make fan art for it? Have you ever had a negative fan art experience before? And are there any fan bases that actually affect the way that you feel about the thing that you like? you know, so those are just some questions for you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to go through the comments and read them. And, you know, with all of that being said, and I am not above pointing out my own mistakes, I did make a mistake, but I still do like the drawing. But yeah, if you guys do like the drawing, let me know. If you thought that this topic was interesting, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And thanks for watching. I don't usually do that many topic videos, but if there are actually any other interesting topics that you think that I should cover, I'd be interested in hearing about them, because I actually want to start talking about more interesting things in these kinds of videos rather than just, this is, you know, this was my last week, what did you do? So if there's any other topics that you actually want me to cover, let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Make life take the lemons back. Get mad. I don't want your damn lemons. What am I supposed to do with these?
Take the lemons.
Let's go.
Come on.
Let's go. Gonna be in space. Chase.
I'm good.
Because I'm a potato.
Yeah.
Demand to see life's manager. Make life rue the day it thought it could give Cave Johnson lemons.
What the hell is going on?
I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down with the lemons. I'm gonna get my engineers to invent a combustible lemon that burns your house down.
Burning people. He says what we're all thinking.
Wanna go to space. Orbit.
Space.